Welcome to the Spiritual Sweet Spot, a place where you can rejuvenate your soul. Hosted by author M.B. Mosley. This is a safe space for all. Hello. Welcome back. We are on a fresh new chapter. Let's take in a deep breath. Let us smell the flowers. And let us blow the candles. Whew. What a sigh of relief. We are on a whole new fresh chapter, first page, perhaps even we're in a whole new book, honey. At this rate, I'm just sitting in the realm of delight. So as some may know, but definitely my husband knows, that December is one of my favorite months, and of course fall by far is my favorite season, and fall and spring are my favorite seasons. But when we put December in there, and I remember having a conversation with my husband saying, I like the spirit of Christmas. And it's like, the spirit of Christmas. I was like, yeah, not necessarily, the people, not even people, but just not necessarily the shopping of gifts and stuff like that. But just, I don't know, there's just like pleasantness, or just this, I don't know, there's just something in the air that just makes me like just happy. And so I get so excited when December hits the corner. And so, and also it just also signifies going into the next, book, and going then, looking forward to going into the next book, what that year is going to hold, and the excitement of that. But how are you all doing today? How's your mental? How's your physical? Most importantly, how is your soul? So, as I was thinking about one of my favorite months, and it's a whole new paragraph chapter here, I was thinking, let's talk about signs. We've had such an amazing time on the podcast, and I'm so thankful. I'm thankful for everyone that's downloading, everyone that's subscribing, everyone that's tuning in. I am so thankful to you for everything you're doing for this podcast. I'm very, 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 very much appreciated. I very much do. And so, I say, let's get into a little bit something, switch up a gear here today for the spiritual sweet spot. And let's talk about signs. Let's talk about signs this month. Or perhaps maybe today, and we'll see what next week may have up the sleeve. But let's talk about signs. I was thinking about how so many times, and I remember before even embarking on the journey to my true self, where, if I was faced with certain things in life, and I had a lot of questions and that needed answers, and all I could do is just hope for a sign. Something about that sign, or something to just give you that little affirmation. Am I going down the right path? Is this the right choice? Did I make the right decision? It's always something about just, sometimes second guessing yourself. And so I wanted to talk about signs, supernatural, super wonders, whatever you want to call them. But let's talk about signs. I'm so reminded that we live in a busy time, and there's a lot of concerns, and perhaps there's just a lot going on in the background, and sometimes in our personal lives, there is a lot. But I also am reminded that, guys, if we slow down just a tad bit, or if we really take an opportunity to sit in it, we may see a sign, or we may see something that's pertaining to our questioning. The universe is always communicating with us, right? And it's just up to us to see what we see. when the universe communicates. And trust and believe, in the years that I've been on earth, it has not been a neon sign. It'll be nice, or a marquee. Or for some people, it's been a marquee. Nowadays they really fancy with the marquee. So somebody might be having a question, and maybe a marquee might say, "You are in the right direction," and you might catch a glimpse of that, and that might speak right into your heartstring there, and give you that affirmation you need. And so I wanted to talk. I was thinking, I was like, did I write about this? I don't think so. Did I? I don't know. I don't remember. But I remember, you know, here's the thing: signs are all around us, they're everywhere, right? And the part of living this journey, or moving through this journey, is to understand the realm of possibilities. And because sometimes we're already second guessing ourselves, or doubting, or wondering, and so to live in a mind and a space of endless or infinite possibilities is really to be aware of all that's around you, and that the universe is trying to communicate to you. Understanding that the signs that we may seek, or that we may be looking for, may not come in the forms that we think they should come, or maybe they may not come in the forms that Hollywood movies, or in our days we got Netflix and whatnot. We have streaming services, so we should not just say Hollywood. I digress and become really picky about it. But okay, you get the point. So sometimes it may just not come like we see it in movies and shows, right? But I wanted to share a story with you, because this is the season. 'Tis the season. All right. La 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 la. And I think it's like the Christmas songs I like too. Yeah. Christmas songs, and just the spirit of December, the spirit of Christmas. Not necessarily the gifts, gifts are okay, but just the spirit of it all. I don't know. It makes my heart melt. But so I remember there's an incident that happened. Okay, do you guys believe in like angels, guides, ancestors, other? Hey, to each its own, right? Something around us that moves around us, or angels among us, guides among us, or the presence of ancestors around us. I remember years ago, years ago, there was this moment I want to share with you guys. It's one of those moments. Hey, look, you do what you want with this information, but it all dials back to science. And so, and sometimes I know for my life, I never sat around really, oh, I need a sign, like craving a sign or wanting a sign. I've just carried around maybe emotional questions, needing answers, or just, and so I'll never forget this day. It was a Friday, and I had gotten home early from work that day. And I remember thinking to myself, let me go to the gym, because I didn't like going to the gym around, I used to call them club hours, around like 5 p.m. and above, because everyone that got off work went to the gym at that time. It was just packed, and the introvert in me was just like freaking out, because there's too many buff people in the gym. In one setting. And so I remember that it was like around 1 p.m. or so, 2 p.m., around about that time. And so I remember getting, was excited, got off, went home. I changed into my gym clothes, drove to the gym. It was close by. And I got into the gym, did my cardio workout. And at that time, I believe in backstory. I think a lot of authors do. At that time, I had my gym bag was like the rolly bag, like the bags that have little rollers on them. And we had kind of like gotten them as Christmas presents for, the company was like, we really doing big things popping. So here's some backpacks with wheels. And so that was my gym bag at that time. I'm grateful, be grateful in all things. I'm grateful. humbled, might I add. And it was my gym bag. So I remember getting into the gym, boom, putting my bag in the locker, boom, going to do my cardio in the theater dark room, boom, because that's where I always went. Boom. No, just kidding. But that's where I always went. We got to stop with the booms. But that's where I always went. I did my cardio. Honestly, I don't remember which part of the cardio it was. It's either a treadmill, an elliptical. They didn't have Stairmasters in the dark room at that time. But anyways, I digress. So I typically did my little hour and I'm out, right? So I remember because it was routine. I left the dark room, theater room, went to the women's locker room to go get my bag. And I got my bag and it was probably, and what I was thinking in my mind, I was trying to rush to get up out of there before the heavy traffic, before the real gym worker outers came in. You know what I'm saying? And so, just kidding. It's just people, it's, weirdo over here. It doesn't like a lot of people. But so I was just trying to rush to leave. So I remember grabbing my keys and then I grabbed my cool backpack on rollers. And I was like mobbing real fast, and I was leaving. I opened the double doors and I was literally like just 3 steps out, and the parking lot, I was wanting to get in my car. So I was crossing the parking lot, and mid cross in the parking lot, somebody is going, hey, excuse me. And so surely I'm like, I don't really know people in this gym. Like I know faces, but I don't talk to people in this gym. So it couldn't be me. So I'm like, just like 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, just mobbing, pulling my little backpack. And I heard, hey, excuse me. And I'm like, wait, what? Maybe, and I thought maybe I dropped something. So I quickly looked back and I looked down. I didn't drop anything. And then I look up and this girl's like, kind of like jogging towards me. And she says, I hate to ask you this, but what did she say? Listen, it was like, wait, she says, I remember her saying, I hate to ask you this. She left her cell phone in the hotel room, and she needed a ride back to the hotel room, which was by the airport. The gym was close to the airport. And I thought it was weird, but she didn't look threatening at all. I'm like, yeah, I could take her if I need to. No, I'm just kidding. But she was like, this girl was like probably 6 foot, probably 6'3". She was tall. No, I'm 5'3". And she was like, I just need a ride to the hotel. It's right by the airport. I think it was like the Hilton or something like that. I knew where that was. And and it was, in my mind, it's like, it was probably literally like under 10 minutes away. So I was like, yeah, okay, sure. And so, boom, we go to the car. The booms are back. We go to the car. Boom. No, I'm just kidding. We go to the car. She gets in the car. I get in the car. And I laugh at myself sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, as many criminal shows as I've always watched, I've always been the first person to give people a ride. Like, oh, you're a stranger? Perfect. Come on in. But so she comes in the car, and because this is what writers do sometimes, or maybe there's just my weird self backstory. Every detail of characters matter. So the girl is like 6'3". She has on like basketball shorts and a t-shirt, and which was weird because what did she have in her hand? She didn't have a cell phone. I don't think it was because that's what the thing was, but she had her wallet. And because I remember her offering to pay for gas. And so here's the thing. And tall, she's white. She had blue, like, I don't know, like aqua blue eyes, like blonde hair in a ponytail. Not even like platinum blonde, but blonde hair, distinctively blonde hair in a ponytail. Tall, because I'm 5'3", tall. She's athletic tone. And so she gets in the car with me. And so this, in all of this stuff that I'm now telling you only resonated with me in hindsight when I got home later on, and you're sitting back, I was sitting back and I'm like tripping, like, wait a minute, so now she's in the car and I'm driving, and she's like, okay, so, my name is, I forgot her name. She said what her name was. Oh, nice to meet you. Told her my name. Well, nice to meet you too. And she said she's in town on a basketball thing, I think. She plays for the women's basketball team or something like that overseas, though. I think like in Spain. And in the city that I lived, she was not from that city, but like, I think like she was there for a conference. I don't know, something like that. But her dad lived there because that's who she was trying to get a hold of for some stuff like that. And no matter. So we're cruising along, and all of a sudden she starts to talk to me about relationships. Listen, I didn't even bring up relationships. At that time in my life, I had gone in and out of like toxic relationships, and I was just trying to focus on myself, and I didn't know where life was really going. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those, like, if you've been played so many times, like, I don't even care anymore. I just want to just chill, live, but I don't even know what the outcome of life really is. And then here she's talking about relationships because she was like, oh, so are you married? Da, 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 da. And I thought, okay. And I was like, no. She's like, oh, that's okay. That's okay, because he's going to come soon. She said, you guys, if I'm lying, I'm dying. She said that, and I'm thinking, girl, please, you don't even know me. No, I'm just kidding. I wasn't thinking like that, but I was just like, sometimes I'm so oblivious. And I was like, yeah, because I was not even tripping about all of that, She's like, he will, just trust. And she was on this, like, I don't know, like, she was really like, her aura was soft, gentle, and just, she was, you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, yeah, sure. I'm just blowing it off because I wasn't really thinking about, oh my gosh, she's here. What, I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And so it became more so about me. And I realized in hindsight, I never really asked her much. She had said that she's there for the basketball thing, and she played basketball overseas and all that other stuff. And I don't follow basketball overseas or even local, let alone. And so, and then she was like, you just got to believe. She was really saying words of encouragement, right? I wasn't tripping about it, about the words at that time, granted, in hindsight, I'd spent time before then. And, when you go up and down, you're a young person in life and relationships, of course I'd spend time soaking my pillow sometimes, just wondering what's wrong with humanity. And, you question your relationships, the toxic ones, what happened there, what's going on, a little girl on girl pillow thing, crying and whatnot. Yes, crying it, not crying, but crying it. But, so, okay, she's giving me all this encouragement and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. And so we get to the hotel. We're pulling up to the hotel, you all. If I'm lying, I'm dying. She has been like, she felt like, she was like, sweet. In the whole time we're going to the hotel, 2 times she asked. Like I said, it's under 10 minutes away. She was like, 2 times she asked. She was like, hey, thank you so much for the ride. If you want, I could... she didn't even say if you want, to be honest with you. She just says, can I pay for gas? Yeah, she didn't even say if you want. She was like, can I pay for gas? And I was like, no, that's fine. Because in my mind, it was literally under 10 minutes away. Come on now. And she asked again the second time later on, and I say, no, it's okay. Thank you. And we pull up to the awning of the hotel, and I'm right there at the awning. And she's like, so thankful. She's like, thank you so much. And she says to me, can I pray with you? And I thought, okay. Okay. And so, what I'm saying? One of those, like, you got to bow your heads and, like, the corner of your eyes looking. No, I'm just kidding. I felt no threat at all by her. I bow my head, and then she kind of, like, puts her hand on my shoulder, and then she prays, encouraging prayer about me, my life, and the person that's coming into my life. Like, she was acting like she knew who this person was, like, and when they come to, into her life, and I thought, okay, lady, we just had like a 5-minute conversation about this, like, but okay, thanks for the prayer, we'll take it, and so she was like, listen, and then she goes, I will never forget this, she said that there is, in hindsight, fam, in hindsight, okay, what your girl's learning in life, in hindsight. But at the moment, she said there is a Christian gathering or something like that, a Christian gathering, a Christian group gathering or fellowship or worship or something. She said a conference. And you are invited to come. It's here in the hotel. It starts at 7 p.m. I said, oh, okay, thank you. And I forgot the girl's name, right? And I don't know, maybe something about my life was giving off, like maybe I was just like giving up on life or something like that. I'm not sure. But she was a burst of encouragement in my life. I'm not going to lie. It was really inspiring. She'd encouraged me the whole entire time. You know what I mean? And so I said, oh, okay, thank you. So, and I lived by myself really, and I was to myself. And so I was single, and it was Friday. So I remember going home. And when I got home, I got showered out of my gym clothes and everything like that. I'm not even really yet set. I haven't really sat down to process everything that had happened. And after I took a shower and I put on casual clothes, and I thought, you know what? Let me go check out this Christian fellowship or whatever she said. It was a group, Christian gathering or something like that. And I go out there to that Hilton, the same Hilton I dropped her off at. And I get to the front desk. I'm like, hey, so there's a Christian fellowship or whatever it was, whatever. Front desk person's like, yeah, absolutely over there. So, and what I'd gone to go, in hindsight, I was thinking, I she'll be, because like I don't like going to places I don't know anybody, but that girl was going to be there and I just met her. And I'm going to say thank you so much for the encouragement, because it kind of like resonated later on, it sank in, as I went home and all this other stuff. Like, this lady doesn't even know me and she's just saying all this stuff, encouraging stuff into my life. Like, she knows me. Like, fam, who are you? Who sent you? The FBI? And I'm just kidding. And so, who got a folder on me? And so, the front desk person points out where the double doors are. So I go to these double doors, amazing people in the room, right? So now I'm like poking my head out looking for her, because like I'm like freaking out because I don't know who these strangers are, and I'm not about to stay with a bunch of strangers. And like, I don't know if it was like an organizer or somebody it was somebody connected to the group, but I mean, I don't know what their position was. And they're like, hi, welcome. They were so excited. Are you looking for someone? I had forgotten her name, but I had a description though. I mean, the girl was tall. You can't miss her. And I said, yeah, there's a girl who plays for basketball and overseas. It was overseas at that time. I forgot. She had told me. Now I forgot, but at that time I forgot what country. Not at that time. Today I forget, but at the time she had told me overseas. I don't remember where. I think it was Spain or something. And I told them, and I say she's about 6'3". She's tall, blonde hair, blue, aqua, turquoise, whatever. They like really light blue eyes. I mean, you can't miss them. She's tall. And I looked all up in there. She wasn't there. And they're like, no, I'm sorry. We don't know who you're talking about. So I thought, okay, and maybe she didn't come to, because she had said she was out here for basketball and all this other stuff. So then I go over there to the front desk and I'm like talking to the front desk clerk, right? And I already know they can't give us so much information. I forgot the girl's name. And I was like, oh, so, there's women's basketball team over here. Or I was just assuming, because the girl never said the team was there. She had said she was here visiting her dad, and he was like, he didn't know what I was talking about. And I was like, describe the talk girl, He's like, and he'd been working there for a while. I had to ask all of that other information. He said, no, he works the same shift and everything. And he was at the same shift when I dropped her off, but not that I peered in to look to see who's at the front desk, but it's just that same time period. And he was like, and I don't think, I don't expect him to know each and every guest that walks in, but she was distinctively tall. So no, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm thinking, oh, wow. So I didn't stay over there for that because I was like, I don't know them people like that. And I got into the car. That's when I started, my wheels were churning, because I was like, wait a minute. The girl offered to pay for gas 2 times. Why didn't she just call for a taxi cab? Or is it, taxi cab, same thing. Why didn't she call for a taxi? This is like before Uber and the rideshare services, right? And that was the thing. She didn't have her phone on her or something like that. It was at the hotel. But she had her wallet on her because she offered 2 times to pay for gas. Then that taxi ride would have been probably under $15. And she could have used the front desk phone at the gym to call. And so I'm starting to think, who is this girl? It started to drive me crazy. I came home, girl. Look, I was doing Googleations and whatnot. And I was like, women's basketball, Spain, and trying to look at pictures. And I'm like, who was this girl? You guys, I don't know who this girl was. Up to date in my life, I don't know, but I know that she had so many encouraging words. And even when she prayed for me, she put her hand she put her hand on my like arm, like my bicep, she just put her hand on my bicep. And then she prayed. She didn't listen, I've been in church like my whole entire life since I was like 5 months old. And I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? So it's like I come from a church background. So she wasn't like, Father God and in the name of Jesus. And no, she didn't do any of that. She just, when she put her hand on my arm, she just said that, she did encouraging words and all the stuff that, it is well with her life and that she will find the ultimate happiness and that he is coming and all this other stuff. And I was like, girl, who coming? But, so, you know what I'm saying? So, but, I didn't even trip off of that at that moment, because now when I was leaving the hotel was like, okay, so none of these people, like those church people, didn't know what I was talking about. The guy was like, look, when he was like, no, we don't know, and then I realized when she told me about the group, she didn't say, would you like to join us at this prayer, whatever church Christian group that's there? She just stated it. She said there is a group fellowshipping or whatever she said, the way she worded it, but she never put herself in it. Now that it was in hindsight, and I was driving back home like 5 miles per hour thinking, what in the heavens just happened? And then I just was thinking about how encouraging she was. And I mean, there's tall women out there, but she was just like this beautiful person. Like, you WBA ladies, shout out. You know what I'm saying? But she just had this like mystique about her, and I just was like, wait. And then stuff wasn't making sense, guys. It just wasn't. Like, if you had a wallet, why didn't you call a cab? You could have called a cab at the desk. And when I was leaving the gym, I wasn't the person that even opened the door. It was like people leaving and people coming in. It was a bunch of us coming out. But at the part of excuse me, and then I finally turned around, there was a lot of people around. She could have asked for a ride from anybody. I know I got an angelic face and whatnot, but I'm just teasing. Just joking. But I'm just saying, like, was this my sign? And that's why I say, we can't think of things to come to our lives to be so obvious and to be so in our face, because like I said, when I took an inventory at that time in hindsight, I wasn't actively out here like, I need a man, I need to be in a relationship. Am I going to be in a relationship? It's just that I had been so discouraged with dating and being in that scene, and I was trying to do myself. And at that time, because the type of person I am sometimes is like, I'm not trying to fester on, because that wasn't like an issue. Like, I wasn't feeling inadequate or less than because I was single, but it was just like one of those things in passing as I laid my head in my house. It just felt like, wow, is there anybody out there for me, and all this other stuff at that moment, y'all. And here comes this tall lady, like, lady, who are you? Where are you? You had me doing Google searches, and it's so unfortunate that I just could not remember her name. None of those people in that Christian group, they're like a tall blonde girl, blue eyes. I was like, They're like, no, sorry. So I was like, wow. Then I'm going back home thinking, okay, it's not like she couldn't have used the phone at the hotel. And then the Hilton has shuttles. They have shuttles. They would have came to pick her up. The shuttle van would have came to pick her up. She was under 10 minutes away. And so I'm thinking, okay. And then, like, I don't really pay attention, I knew that she was, I don't really pay attention, but I knew that I hadn't seen her at the gym before. I know people's faces, but I don't know everybody at the gym. But, the schedules that we usually go, even though it was like afternoon after work, morning times was my time, but still the same thing is just like, lady, who are you? But thank you so much for that burst of encouragement in my life. Even up to this day, I'm just like, what do you guys think? What? Signs? Signs and wonders. We want encouragement. We want it bold and big and strong, or guidance in our lives, and expect it to come in a letter of sorts, or a phone call, or something so familiar. But it was so crazy, y'all, because it just like literally dawned on me later on. Like I was just driving, didn't even dawn on me, because I'm not like, when it's a stranger, I'm not even like, we not gonna talk like that. But she was just like, she asked the questions, led the conversation, and then she just started encouraging me the whole entire time until we got to the hotel. And I'm just like, okay, and but the weirdest part of all was at that moment was like, the conversation. She could have talked about children maybe, or she could have talked about careers. She could have talked about just life, what was happening in life. But the fact that she went to the first thing after the who I'm so and so, nice to meet you, here for basketball and all that stuff. And so, are you married? No, I'm not. That's all I said. And she says, don't worry, you will be. And I'll never forget that. I was like, in my mind, because I was like, girl, please, you know what I'm saying? She was like, you will be, don't worry, you will be. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you know what I mean? In my mind, I hope she wasn't able to read my mind. And so, and then she just started from there, because it wasn't like I was like, oh no, like, how you're having a conversation and you resist something or whatever, and somebody tries to talk you into it or something. No, I was just like, no, I'm not. She was like, no. And then she just went into that whole entire, you will be, he's coming, and all this other stuff. And you just got to have faith. That's what she kept saying. You just got to have faith. I'm like, who in the world is this lady? Who are you, lady? And that's probably further back. Let me see. How old was I then? Could have been 6 years. Because then, like, 6 years before I met my husband, 5 years before I met him, the dream came. But it could have been 6 years. It was like a further back thing. But it was crazy. It was bizarre. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Think about it. Think about the moment in time in your life, perhaps something kind of like eyebrow raising happened, and then in hindsight, when you thought about it, things didn't add up, and you were wondering if that could have been a sign, or that could have been, listen, wait, did I miss out on that opportunity, or was that an encouragement? What just happened? Because that's how I drove home after that Hilton hotel. I was like, wait, what just happened? Okay, I don't even know. And then even when I was at home Googling women's basketball, like she said they were like American women's basketball team that played overseas. It was in Europe. And I want to say it was Spain. Spain is in Europe. I want to say it was, look, I have to look. I'm looking at my mental map right now. I have to think. Let me see. But I don't recall. I don't know. Or was it Italy? I don't know. Whatever it was, I was doing the Googleations, women's basketball team overseas, looking at pictures. I'm like, I don't see her pictures in what was pulling up. And at that time, I don't think maybe Google was not as like, as on point as it is right now. It'll pull up your mailman's pictures if you type it in. My mailman, please, or my mailwoman, please, Google. But guys, think about that. Signs and wonders. My. The mysteries of this life we live and the journey we travel in is always interesting or fascinating. So, people, think about also Have you ever faced, we're just, it's December, so we're calling it signs and wonders. But let's dig a little bit deeper, right? Let's talk about synchronicities. Have you heard about synchronicities? What do you think about synchronicities? I mean, what do they mean to you on this journey? Or do you believe in coincidences? What are coincidences to you? Or what are your beliefs on coincidences? I mean, life itself is very interesting, and being on this journey, I just like to still just sit and dwell in this realm of infinite possibilities, because to claim that I know it all is really to discredit my journey and to dishonor my journey as well, because I don't. I'm just like, I don't know. She could have just been a legitimate professional basketball player lady that was sent there by the universe itself at such a time as that to grant me that encouragement that I needed. And that just still sends shivers to my spine, because the universe is always delivering what we need when we need it in the time that we need it, y'all. And when we dig deep into synchronicities and we think about coincidences and we think about how the universe works in our favor, I'm always reminded to also encourage you all in this season, in the next chapters that we traveled through in our journey, to be what do you say, to be sensitive, to your higher self, to be sensitive to that small quiet voice, to be sensitive to because sometimes those are the signs and wonders, right? And sometimes, we live in a society where it's hustle and bustle and it's loudness, TV, internet, entertainment, everything is just going on at the same time. I'm always reminded of situations where I remember one time my husband told me that it was a long time ago. We talk about coincidences, synchronicities. We talk about listening to that still small voice in us, our higher self, the spirit man in us. We talk about such conversations every now and then. And I remember him mentioning, like, one time he was coming from work and he just heard a voice tell him to go to the left lane. He went to the left lane, and just a few feet away was something going on in the right lane. So could it be that the signs, wonders, synchronicity, and or coincidences that all work in our favor or guiding us or helping us on this journey are as clear sometimes as day, and sometimes we maybe have to crack a little code, or maybe just pay a little bit extra attention just to see what is going on? Or should we just really dwell on the imagination and or entertain the idea of infinite possibilities? Who said it's got to be a one-size-fits-all messenger? You guys, here's how crazy I'm trying to tell you that life could be so amazingly crazy. And because I also remember, I know this is bizarre. So listen, I don't judge. What you do in your life, you do in your life, right? But I could tell you this for a fact. I was never like a scratch off person. I've gotten scratch offs for like Christmas, work parties and stuff like that. I used to have a coworker who would give us scratch offs, like those what are they called? Like, you scratch off to see if you want a prize or something like that. But personally speaking, it wasn't a thing that I go into the gas station or the store to go and get, right? And like I said, no knock to anybody's thing, It's just something I just don't really think in hindsight, today's word is hindsight. But it's just something that I don't really think about, I need to go do. But check this out. One time, this was really bizarre. I was driving, I left home, and I was taking a longer route to get to the freeway entrance. And the route before we got on the freeway has a big gas station out here. The franchise is the Quick Trip franchises. Well, it's not a franchise, I don't believe, but the Quick Trip gas station stores, whatever. And so, before I hit the Quick Trip area, right when I made the right, and Quick Trip was still a little bit down right before you make the right, close to the freeway entrance or highway entrance. These are highways out here. Freeways are in California. Okay, so I really still voiced a bias scratch off from Quick Trip, and I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on. You know what I'm saying? And just bizarre, random. And I knew that wasn't my voice because that wasn't my thought. Memory's not thinking about stopping for a scratch off because first you gotta go pull up into the parking lot, and like Quick Trips are always busy, and you gotta fight other cars in the parking lot to get a parking spot, and then you gotta go in, and then all I'm gonna go buy is just one scratch off. Okay, so I played the game. I said, all right, I'm gonna, because I knew that was just instinctively, I knew that was in my voice. I was like, she's not thinking about scratch offs. So I pull up, I pull up to the Quick Trip. I go inside the store and I go up to the counter. The kid there is looking at me like, yeah, how can I help you? And I'm like, can you, because I don't, the lines are so, Quick Trip is like fast and lines form quick, and these kids just like whoop them out through, So I didn't know how to pick one. So I just told the kid, can you just give me any dollar scratch off? And he just like, any? I was like, just any. And he was like, I think he actually, no. And the funny part, he was like, any? And I was like, yeah, any dollar scratch off. And he says, oh, for the dollar scratch offs, we only have one type. I believe that's what he said. I said, all right, great. I'll take that. Gave him $1. He gave me the scratch off. I put it in my pocket, went into the car, went on by my way, got on the freeway, went to run the errands that I needed to run, blah, 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 blah. Finally, at the end of the day, got home. It felt in my pocket. I felt that scratch off, and I was like, let me scratch this thing, So I'm looking at it, and I remember it was green. The color on it was green, and I'm looking at it. Chicken, listen, I got to read instructions here and figure this out. And it says, okay. So scratch, he says your winning numbers are up here, the little two sections at the top. And then he says, scratch any of these numbers to match to your winning numbers. Okay, seems pretty straightforward. Found me a coin, started scratching, scratch, and boom. Boom is back again. I hit, right? $50 $50 is not that big of a deal to a lot of people, right? But listen, from $1, that's $49 profit. And so I was like, okay. But you know what? Listen, look, now that I'm thinking about it and sharing with you, that was like a trust factor. Listen to that small, still voice that thought that wasn't mine. That wasn't true. Because at first I was like, yeah, I'm not going to the Quick Trip. It's so busy and people are coming in and out. You got to watch how you drive in. Just making all these excuses. And I just went. And it was $50. I was like, yeah, oh, okay. All right. How do I cash this bad boy? Mama's rich. Mama could go buy a pair of brand new shoes. And so it was just really interesting and just, ironic at the same time. But it's all about the infinite possibilities, the abundance of the universe. And I think the magic of it all happens, or the mystique and the unraveling of it all happens in the moments and elements that we think outside that dynamic box of ours. That in the moments that we take limitations away and believe that anything and everything is possible, and that our signs can come in any shape, form, facet. Just like how we are navigating this journey on earth as our true journey to our journey to our true self, right? We are meeting people whose lives we are impacting, and we are meeting people who are impacting our lives. So suffice it to say that we are going to see and feel and experience signs and wonders, synchronicity and coincidences from different angles, some that we may never even imagine or have thought about, but some that will help and encourage us on this path. So to you, my friend, today I say, and I leave you with this after this amazing throwback story here. Let's walk into this new chapter, into this new book of ours, into this refreshed, awakened book that we have just started to read and enjoy. This delicious read of our life. Let's walk into it with the infinite possibilities of the abundance of the universe, and understand that the signs, wonders, and the synchronicities all around us, or coincidences that are all around us, could be those signs, perhaps. Do you keep getting a reoccurring dream and are trying to figure out why you keep dreaming of the same dream? Or perhaps are you dreaming of teeth falling out? Or have you ever had a dream where you were naked, and perhaps even naked in public? OMG, how embarrassing. Or perhaps you don't remember your dreams when you wake up. Well, check it out. Join us at the Dream Decoding podcast, where I teach you on how to train yourself to have a memory recall, and or I teach you on how to understand your dreams as it pertains to your current waking life. The importance of understanding the symbols and messages that we get in our dream realm is because sometimes these messages are coming to give us a good word and or to help us along the path. So don't miss out. Join us at the Dream Decoding podcast with your host, Memory.